The application of electrostimulation for hypnosis using the specified parameters, voltage, current, frequency, resistance modulation, for extended periods raises several psychological, neurological, physiological, and hypnotic considerations. Below are the detailed potential outcomes. 1. Psychological effects. Increased suggestibility. The combined use of electrostimulation and hypnosis could make the subject more suggestible, especially during the prolonged duration of sessions. The continuous modulation of electrical flow could act as a conditioning mechanism, allowing for deeper psychological access and influence. Potential for psychological manipulation. Since the goal of the hypnotic commands is to interrogate and uncover secrets, this type of electrostimulation, paired with hypnosis, could lead to forced psychological compliance. The subject may become more vulnerable to manipulation, especially if the sessions aim at sensitive personal or private information. Cognitive fatigue. 5-hour daily sessions over 2 years are likely to induce mental fatigue, irritability, or cognitive decline. The subject may experience difficulty concentrating, memory lapses, or reduced emotional stability as the brain repeatedly enters and exits intense trance states. Potential for trauma. Using hypnosis to uncover secrets, especially if related to traumatic or repressed memories, could potentially cause psychological distress or exacerbate underlying mental health issues. Long-term exposure to interrogation-type hypnotic sessions may increase anxiety or emotional dysregulation. 2. Neurological effects. Brainwave entrainment. The frequency range, 0.71 to 7.1 Hz, corresponds to delta, 0.5 to 4 Hz, and theta, 4 to 8 Hz brainwaves, which are closely tied to deep relaxation, meditation, and altered states of consciousness. The repeated low-frequency stimulation would likely enhance the brain's ability to enter these states quickly and more deeply over time. Neuroplasticity and conditioning. Prolonged exposure to electrostimulation could lead to long-term neural adaptations. The brain's synaptic pathways involved in trance and altered consciousness may undergo changes, facilitating more efficient transitions into hypnotic states. Desensitization. Over 2 years of repeated stimulation, the brain may develop desensitization, requiring more frequent or intense modulation of the electrical parameters, voltage, frequency, to maintain the same levels of suggestibility or trance depth. Potential for cognitive dysfunction. Extended exposure to low-frequency electrical stimulation could, over time, disrupt normal neural function, potentially impairing cognitive faculties such as attention, memory, and executive function. 3. Physiological effects. Peripheral nerve stimulation. The hand-to-hand electrodes, similar in size to soup cans, would stimulate the peripheral nerves in the hands. Subjects may experience sensations like tingling, numbness, or minor muscle contractions over time, particularly with prolonged sessions. Electrodermal response. Electrical stimulation typically triggers changes in skin conductance, reflecting shifts in the autonomic nervous system's arousal levels. Over time, the subject may experience fluctuations in heart rate variability, sweating, or other physiological responses tied to autonomic function. Body resistance and comfort. With resistance modulated between 5,000 and 300,000 ohms, the operator can adjust the stimulation to maintain comfort and avoid pain. While no major tissue damage is expected at these levels, prolonged use may cause localized skin irritation, muscle fatigue, or other minor physical discomforts. Minor physiological risks. Though the voltage and current are low, long-term exposure could potentially induce minor physical strain, such as hand cramps or numbness, especially due to the size and position of the electrodes over the extended period of use. 4. Hypnotic effects. Deepened trance states. The electrostimulation's low-frequency nature would likely facilitate the subject's entry into deep trance states. Delta and theta brainwaves are optimal for deep hypnosis and altered states of consciousness, allowing for deeper subconscious access. Enhanced hypnotic control. The operator's ability to modulate electrical parameters in real time could amplify control over the subject's state of mind, making the subject more compliant and receptive to commands. This would make it easier to uncover secrets or personal information, as the subject's critical thinking and conscious defenses are weakened. Rapid induction. With prolonged use, The subject may develop quicker responses to hypnosis, entering trance more rapidly upon exposure to the electrostimulation. This could reduce induction time and deepen the subject's susceptibility to hypnotic suggestions. Post-hypnotic vulnerability. The consistent and repetitive nature of these sessions may increase the subject's responsiveness to post-hypnotic suggestions. This means that even outside of the session, they could be more likely to act on commands given during hypnosis, especially if secrets were uncovered and used as leverage. Summary: electrostimulation combined with hypnosis using these parameters could profoundly affect the subject's mind and body. Psychologically, it may increase suggestibility, induce cognitive fatigue, and create vulnerability to manipulation. Neurologically, it could alter brainwave activity, entrainment to delta and theta states, and potentially lead to neuroplastic changes, but also desensitization or cognitive dysfunction over time. Physiologically, it would stimulate peripheral nerves and modify electrodermal responses, though risks of physical harm are minimal if carefully managed. Hypnotically, the subject would likely enter deeper trance states, allowing for quicker and more profound hypnotic control, with an increased likelihood of revealing secrets and acting on post-hypnotic suggestions.